Greetings, Namo Buddhaya. I am KTS Sarao, former professor and head of the Department of Buddhist Studies, Delhi University, and Pro-Chancellor, Subharti University. In this module number 36, I shall be talking to you about the sort of blueprint that perhaps could be made in terms of the decline of Buddhism in India. So far, we have talked about various causes. Here, I shall try to talk about can we build a sort of blueprint for the decline of Buddhism in India. The near disappearance of Buddhism from the plains of India is one of the most puzzling conundrums in the history of India. It is very difficult, if not impossible, to give a continuous account of the history of the decline of Buddhism. In fact, the decline appears to have taken place almost imperceptibly. Whatever information we have on the process of decline of Buddhism in India, it indicates that this process was neither uniform in terms of time, nor was it consistent in the manner of its decline. Though first signs of decline appear in the post-Kushana period, decline had become quite pronounced when Fashian came to India around 399, and by the time Xuanzang came in 629, Buddhism had become somewhat of a spent force in most parts of India. However, on the whole, no period can be delimited as marking the commencement of a general decline of Buddhism all over India. Thus, while Buddhism was flourishing at some places, it had declined or was declining at other places. For instance, when some well-endowed Buddhist viharas existed under the Palas in eastern India, Buddhism had already met its worst fate in Sindh. In a few small pockets, it even survived into modern times. For instance, according to Grierson, there were 434 Buddhists in Odisha in 1901. In order to get some perspective of the decline of Buddhism in India, it is important to remember that India in reality was never a Buddhist country as such. Numerically speaking, Buddhism was never a force to be reckoned with in India, and even at Ashoka's time, there is no evidence to prove that Buddhism had become the religion of a majority of the population. Majority of the supporters of Buddhism were based in urban settlements where only a very small proportion of India's population lived. Lay people who supported Buddhist monks and worshipped at Buddhist shrines also patronized Brahmins and called for their services in the performance of life cycle and other household rituals and ceremonies. Fashian in the 5th century noted that Buddhists and Hindus joined in the same religious processions as though Buddhism was looked on as a branch of Hinduism rather than as an independent religion. Perhaps the key to the decline of Buddhism in India lies in its urban origins. Buddhism appears to have been closely linked with the urban centers and urban occupational groups like merchants, traders, bankers, financiers, and artisans, who were certainly vital for its early popularity and material support. As B.G. Gokhale has pointed out, a decline of that urbanization in later days sapped some of the socially vital foundations of the Buddhist movement. Due to decline of urbanization, Buddhist viharas fell on bad days. Though some Brahmanical Hindu kings may have destroyed a few viharas here and there, their actions do not appear to have been the equivalent of a lethal blow. Similarly, growth of moral corruption and degeneracy in the Buddhist Sangha does not appear to have been responsible for the decline, as corrupt practices were as widely prevalent in other contemporary faiths as in Buddhism. Though assimilative efforts and conscious work to undermine institution Buddhism by the Brahmanical Brahmins definitely merits consideration, they were not openly hostile to Buddhism. Buddhist Brahmins may have actually posed even more danger to Buddhism, as their presence as monks within the Sangha subverted the unique and independent identity of Buddhism vis-a-vis Brahmanical Hinduism. Moreover, Ashoka's powerful propaganda of his own brand of Dharma, from which unique features of the Buddha's teachings were missing, may have contributed greatly in secularizing Buddhism and further diluting its identity. Now, a blueprint for decline. The, these factors, most of which were inherent weaknesses of Indian Buddhism, appear to have collectively caused its decline. Number one, urban character, lack of mass base, and anti Buddhist Brahman peasant alliance under the Bhakti movement. Number two, inalienable affiliation with and dependence upon mercantile communities for material support. Number three, intellectual snobbery, social aloofness, and lack of interest in cultivating loyalty among the fickle minded lay supporters. Number four, death wish mentality of Buddhism. Number five, overwhelming presence of Brahmanical elements in the Sangha and unwittingly playing second fiddle to Brahmanical Hinduism.